Today on BC POV, my top 5 rides of 2019. And well, it's been a hell of a year with locations all over North America. From bike parks to races, massive slabs, it's been pretty fantastic.
Oh yeah, sweet.
And while it's always good to get out for a ride, a few of these have made a big impression on me, so let's get started. Coming in number 5, we arrive in eastern Canada at a riding area near Quebec City called Sentier-du-Moulin. It's a fairly new place to ride, and the trail we rode, Wolverine, had only been built within the previous year. It came as a surprise to me as it featured a ton of rock slabs, something you might not expect in this part of the country.
This granite reminds me a lot of Squamish.
But they were there, and they were awesome. It started out fairly flat with some interesting woodwork mixed in, but it didn't take long for things to get interesting. The trail featured 3 separate pro lines, basically more difficult alternate lines, each one adding an extra level of spice to the riding experience.
Alright, pro line.
The first going over these arranged rocks, the second over this double roll, and the third, the biggest one, down this steep slab. But that wasn't the only thing this mountain had to offer. For the next lap, we rode a trail called Slab City, which was also up there when it comes to cool factor.
Sweet. Off camber.
Built on the same granite as Wolverine, this trail was basically one giant slab weaving its way through the forest. And apparently you guys thought these trails were pretty cool as well, since the video for this ride has accumulated over 1 million views. Number 4 on the list was just a good old time with some great friends. Last spring, Sun Peaks Resort invited me out to their bike park to celebrate their opening weekend. And I was lucky enough to be able to bring my friends James and Brian to experience it with me.
As if I fucking wore that jersey.
You nerd.
You nerd.
I was here first.
And of course, with good friends comes a lot of joking around.
You guys brothers or something?
Hey? What?
Come on. Or what?
He's making fun of the jerseys again.
Oh.
Similar color helmets, same knee pads, 5'10" shoes.
Let's go.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
But it wasn't all poking fun at each other. We got to try some brand new trails that they had just built, some fantastic single track, play around on some sketchy woodwork, and we even spotted a bear.
Hey, man down.
He's pretty big, isn't he?
Wrap it all up with some free beer and cupcakes, and you've got some happy mountain bikers. The heavens did open, however, so that changed the conditions a bit. But hey, that's mountain biking, right? Number 3 in the list is a little different.
See ya.
It wasn't just one day of riding, but 6 days. It was the Trans-BC Enduro race. Taking place in eastern BC, we raced 6 days of enduro at 4 different locations, with each day having a massive amount of climbing and descending. This was also my first blind enduro race, as in we didn't get to ride the trails before the race. At first this was kind of frustrating, especially when the trails weren't that easy to read.
Already. This stupid corner.
Couple that with the hardest trails the organizers could find.
Harder.
Some pretty epic hike-a-bikes, and you've got one of the most difficult mountain bike races in the world. But I did eventually get into the stride of things, and the blind racing made the riding even more intense. I joined 3 close friends of mine for this race: James, Trevor, and David. And after a day or two of racing, it became apparent that Trevor and I were quite close in the results. And it ended up becoming quite a battle between us.
Oh, I fucked that up.
We both raced hard throughout the series, and after 6 days of racing, there was only 26 seconds between us. But I won't tell you who won, you'll have to watch the series for that. But you know, it's funny, while you're doing this race, it feels so hard, so frustrating, you're basically paying to suffer. But after, I got nothing but good memories out of it, and I'm already shopping for my next trans race. At number 2, we've got one of the coolest, yet most chaotic rides I've ever been on.
Nice one, Yuka.
My friends RC and Kyle took us on a shuttle lap of one of the most beautiful rides in Grand Junction, the Ribbon. Starting out on what's basically a parking lot sized slab,
Wow.
you pick up speed rather quickly. Keep an eye out for the many cliffs along this section. Before long, we were at the toilet bowl, a steep slab into an off-camber exit. One by one, we all made it down before continuing down the Ribbon.
There you go.
The next major hurdle was an aptly named feature called Hospital Hill, an extremely technical descent that requires some speed to clean. RC made it through easily enough,
There you go.
but when my turn came about, well, things didn't go quite as smoothly.
Oh, shit. I'm glad that tree was there.
Soon, the dark cloud over our heads started to spit on us, adding pressure to get down before the rains came. We raced down free lunch
Okay.
and onto a trail called Pucker Up. And that's exactly what I did.
Oh, oh. Jeez. I thought I could roll it, but you can't.
The ride ended in the most beautiful and interesting terrain at the bottom before celebrating with some sugary beverages. This was my first time riding the Ribbon, and really, it was amazing. There's really nothing like it. It's truly a world-class ride.
I will not.
Coming in at number 1 is easily the most high consequence ride I've ever done, and also the shortest. The White Line in Sedona. When I arrived in Sedona, I had seen many videos of this so-called trail, each time thinking I would never do it. But I wanted to at least have a look at it, to understand it. The trail starts with a white line that follows the contour of the cliff. As you continue along, it becomes increasingly obvious that if you fall here, it would mean certain death. Once at the end, you've got to roll down this rock slab and make a hard left at the bottom. Continue back across from the way you came to a couple of rock slabs,
And then you roll down this.
and then once you're over these, you've completed the white line. My hands just sweat thinking about it.
I don't know. What do you think?
But after checking it out and sleeping on it, it didn't seem so bad. In fact, I thought I might be able to do it. So the next day we came back and I gave it a try.
All right. Follow the white line.
In front of an audience watching below.
Oh, there he is, riding the white line. Yeah. Nice.
Oh my god.
What's up?
All right. Down here.
Thankfully, in the end, it all worked out. I was able to check it off the list.
That was really intense.
And even though it was so short, it was that intensity that made this ride the top ride of the year for me. Although this lady might disagree.
I saw you way up on the rocks and I thought, well, that's not very smart.
I lived.
So, that's my top 5 rides of 2019. They're all fairly different from each other, and I would say that's a good thing. Mountain biking brings such a variety of experience, and this is why I love the sport so much. Oh, and by the way, thanks to everybody who's been watching this year. Without you guys, there would be no BC POV. And of course, a super special thanks to my patrons and sponsors for the support all along the way. Here's to an even better year in 2020. But as always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.